Sophie Cunningham showed up. This was the kind of game that we've sort of been waiting on from Sophie. Her breakout Indiana Fever performance. The rebounds were huge. By the way, she had, I believe, 7 or 8 rebounds in the first half of this game. All right, before she started knocking down all these.
Finally, after enduring months of uncertainty and witnessing detractors and haters take advantage of every chance, Caitlin Clark has finally shown everyone why she is that girl. Not only did the Indiana Fever defeat the Atlanta Dream last night, but they destroyed them 99-82 in a performance that silenced everyone who has ever wondered if this team and this player would be better without its hero.
Hey, you know what? It's about dang time, let me tell you. I have my... Shoot, it's been a second. I just think for the team, you know, we've had a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of movement. When C's playing, it's a whole different team. And when she's back, you know, we got to catch our rhythm. She's a heck of a player, but we got to find ways to get her involved but keep people hot. But, you know, for me, it finally felt good. It felt good. Like I said, my family's here, my sisters, my best friends. And so it just felt good to have my family here, so I thought I should do something.
The detractors claimed that without Clark, the Fever would be better. She was described as ball dominant. They said that when she wasn't on the ground, the team had more weaponry. Now, where are they? Because that story was completely dismantled by what we saw on Friday night. And it all began with Clark demonstrating that she can control the game without controlling the scoreboard.
No surprise that the Indiana Fever looked best tonight when Caitlin Clark was surrounded by players that don't have an ego. Surrounded by players that said, I'm going to be MVP of the WNBA this year. You see how easy it is when you just let Caitlin play ball and others follow suit?
Let's discuss what actually took place in this situation. In what was nothing short of a masterpiece effort, Sophie Cunningham scored 16 points and pulled down 10 rebounds after coming off the bench like a woman possessed. Here's the lovely part, though. Cunningham wasn't playing against Clark. Cunningham was playing because of Clark. You could see the intense chemistry between these two on every possession.
It is now a final 99-82. Right here, 29 points in the third quarter, 30 points in the fourth quarter. That might be the best second half of the season, the best fourth quarter of the season. Look at these bench points. 29 bench points tonight. And they withstood an absolute barrage by Jordan Canada, who had 26 points in the first half.
For weeks, the detractors told us that without Kane Clark, the Fever were more dangerous. Carolyn Peake of ESPN really stated on television that Indiana is more dangerous when Clark isn't playing. Are you able to trust that? The boldness. In fact, they attempted to persuade us that the greatest rookie in WNBA history, the player who smashed all attendance records, and the woman who salvaged the league's relevancy on her own, was somehow impeding her team's progress. However, Friday night was cold-blooded retribution.
An inconsistent ride for Indiana and for Clark as well, who's had to fight through a lot of injuries. But I think the encouraging thing from Cece was the fight that she showed on the floor. Clearly, she's not quite at 100%, still working her way back, hasn't found her three ball yet, but what she did was attack. She used the physicality against the defenders by putting her head down and going to the basket. That opened things up for her playmaking, which of course is another genius aspect of her game. Once that started clicking, the Fever...
Clark ended with 9 assists and 12 points. However, the true picture is not conveyed by those figures. She struggled from three-point range and went only 5 of 17 from the field, but her influence was evident in every possession. She was the general, the mastermind, the one who improved everyone in her vicinity. Additionally, Clark's leadership and court vision converted a close game into a blowout when the team was trailing by 3 in the third quarter.
Sophie Cunningham, folks, this might have been the best Sophie Cunningham game she's played so far for the Indiana Fever. When she hit those nail-in-the-coffin threes against the Minnesota Lynx, we were already up in that game. Yes, nail-in-the-coffin, awesome. But we were down in the third quarter. We were down 52-47 in the third quarter. And we came back and won. And that started with Sophie Cunningham hitting a big three.
Please subscribe if you're having fun. Are you curious as to why this game is so lovely? Sophie Cunningham emerged from the bench like a possessed woman. Oh my God. Cunningham, Sophie. The Atlanta dream was completely destroyed by this woman as she came off the bench. When it mattered most, Sophie Cunningham was making 4 out of 5 three-pointers. Clark's presence produced opportunities and spacing, which directly contributed to her season-high 16 points. Players like Cunningham thrive when defenders are preoccupied with blocking Clark's drives, chasing her around screens, or worrying about her pulling up from 30 feet.
So, the big way they were able to neutralize Caitlin Clark, and I think it was almost an issue with Stephanie White as much as anything, is they were manhandling her. They were manhandling Caitlin Clark early in that game. Like, they had 2 hands on her. They were fully getting into the we are grabbing her and we don't really care. Like, that was their goal. Their goal was they were out there to maul Caitlin Clark. They had they had absolutely no intention of doing anything other than maul.
However, this is what truly set this apart. Cunningham and Clark's chemistry. It was visible on the court. Every time Clark kicked and drove, Cunningham was there, poised to take off. Clark found Sophie for wide-eyed stares each time the dream attempted to crumble on her. This is the result of having teammates that know how to play off one another and an exceptional basketball IQ. Sophie Cunningham's ability to understand is what makes her so lovely. She is aware of her job. She is aware that the game is different when Caitlin Clark is playing. We play a different kind of basketball when Sophie is playing with us, as she herself stated. You play a different style on the court when she's injured while she's with us. That isn't a critique. That's the intellect of basketball. That's knowing how to get the most out of your team.
Let's go right here. Sophie Cunningham, let's check it out. And she's got the long three way downtown. Boom. Way down, boom. So, real nice. All-around performance. Second half was great ball tonight. No doubt about it. But Stephanie White let the team cook in the second.
Everything changed in the third quarter. With 3 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the third, they are behind 63-60. For the remainder of the quarter, the Fever prevented Atlanta from scoring a field goal. They took an 8,067 lead after scoring the last 4 points of the third and going on an 11-2 surge to start the fourth. It remained in double digits until the last buzzer. It wasn't simply one player playing a fantastic game. This was about everyone around Clark being elevated by her leadership. With 25 points, Kelsey Mitchell topped the squad. Aaliyah Boston scored 19 points and dished out 8 assists. All of a sudden, the Fever appeared to be the squad that everyone had anticipated at the start of the season. The Fever equaled for the most points in any half during the previous 7 seasons and scored 59 points in the second half, their highest total of any half this season. It's not a coincidence. That's what occurs when a player improves everyone around her, draws attention even when she doesn't make a shot, and opens doors for teammates simply by playing.
Caitlin be herself. We started playing an up-tempo type style that forced the Atlanta Dream to react to what we were doing. Instead of us trying to counterpunch, Atlanta Dream, they found themselves against the ropes. And there we were, Kelsey Mitchell in the third quarter, slugging away. Sophie Cunningham in the third quarter, slugging away. AB in the fourth quarter.
Speaking about athletes that were unable to establish themselves, where was Brittany Gurrier? When it mattered most, Brittany Gurrier, who has been outspoken about her opinions against specific players in the league and made it apparent that she doesn't value the attention Clark receives, remained completely mute. In a game where her team sorely needed her to step up, Gurrier mustered a pitiful 10 points and 8 rebounds. She made 4 of 11 shots from the field and appeared irritated the entire evening, particularly when facing Aaliyah Boston. She didn't do anything to get attention herself, which is surprising for someone who is meant to be this dominant force in the paint and who has been dismissive of other players receiving attention. This is the same Brittany Gurrier who said, "Let's get it," on social media prior to the game. only to be totally outplayed by a hot team that was supposed to be having trouble. This season, she's averaging career-low figures: 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And Friday night made it clear why.
This game, in the second half, we didn't take our foot off the gas. We put our foot on the throat of the Atlanta Dream. We didn't tell Caitlin Clark, whoa there, lassie. No, we said, Caitlin Clark, roam free. Fly like a butterfly. Flap your wings. Spread your wings. And watch the team follow.
We've been hearing the worn-out story that the Fever were better off without Clark for months. Because Clark was ball dominant, ESPN's Carolyn Peck claimed that Indiana was more dangerous when she wasn't playing. When the Fever won a few games without her due to an injury, that story became more prominent. Here's what actually took place, though. Clark missed his last 5 games due to injury, and the Fever lost 2 of their last 3 games. They had trouble finishing games. Her clutch moments and playmaking were missed. Additionally, they appeared to be a squad lacking their finest player, which was precisely the case. The performance on Friday night was the last response to all those critiques. To demonstrate her value, Clark didn't need to score 30 points. It didn't take her 20 shots to prove her worth. She demonstrated that her influence extends well beyond the box score, that every teammate benefits from her presence, and that this team only performs at its best when she is playing.
Didn't I say that they need Caitlin Clark? I mean, come on, guys. See, this is why you don't listen to ESPN. Idiots like Carolyn Peck said they are more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. She should be indicted and go to jail for that comment. That's one of the dumbest comments.
Do you know what makes such performances so lovely? The ensuing quiet. Now, where are all the critics? Those who said that the Fever was better without their top player are nowhere to be found. Where are the commentators who promoted the idea that Clark was somehow impeding this team's progress? There is nothing left to say, thus they are nowhere to be found. Seeing Sophie Cunningham make 4 of 5 three-pointers, Kelsey Mitchell score 25 points, and Aaliyah Boston dish out 8 assists makes it clear that Clark is the reason behind all of this, not the reason for it. You can see exactly what level Clark is playing at because she can have an off-shooting night and yet have total control over the game. She is more than just a scorer. She's a leader, a floor general, and a player who improves everyone around her simply by playing.
Who's the best player on the team? Now, they show that they're a quality basketball team without Caitlin Clark, but they're not a championship team without Caitlin Clark. They proved that, okay? So with that said, they need Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark sets her teammates for success, sets better plays, better passing. I guarantee you Caitlin Clark played that game, they would have won. I mean, come on, the matchup would have been...
This is the aspect of Caitlin Clark that makes her detractors go completely crazy. She is fully aware of her abilities. She lets her basketball speak for her, so she doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. She simply goes out and reminds everyone why she is the face of women's basketball in the face of loud detractors, doubters, and haters. On Friday night, Clark was recovering from an injury. She was still not fully recovered, but she was still fully controlling the game's flow. She has missed a few games this season due to injury, but each time she returns, she demonstrates why the Fever are an entirely different team when she is on the court. The wonderful thing is that Clark will only get better. The three-pointers will start to fall more frequently as she wins more games in a row, gets healthier, and becomes more at ease with this team's chemistry. The domination will become much more obvious when the scoring figures rise.
An aggressive Caitlin Clark frees up every single player for constant wide open shots. I don't care about this grit and grind basketball where you have to take difficult shots. Why would you choose to take difficult shots when Caitlin forces the team to run? Everyone runs, everyone moves, everyone eats when Caitlin Clark is playing like this. Everyone does. Caitlin doesn't even need to. I don't care if Caitlin Clark averages 8 and 8 a game. It doesn't matter. This is fun. This is fun to watch. And eventually the shot's going to start falling. Eventually it's going to start falling. Because you don't forget.
What we saw on Friday night was more than a victory. It was a declaration. Everyone was shown by Clark and the Fever that all the commotion, criticism, and uncertainty were all rumors. They've shown that they are capable of defeating any team in the league when they are in good condition, have Clark on the court, and have Sophie Cunningham bringing that spark off the bench. Cunningham and Clark have a unique chemistry. Championship-level basketball is demonstrated by the way they enhance one another, feed off each other's energy, and complement one another. You build around that. Because they are aware of what is about to happen, the haters will remain silent for some time. They are aware that Clark is only beginning, that the Fever are only beginning to reach their full potential, and that all of their narratives and talking points were brutally destroyed in 1998 and 1982.
I think we like to call her the female version of Steph Curry because the way she gets hot from downtown, it's must-see TV. But she's always played more like Trae Young. If you really watched her game, you would notice. And it's not a bad thing. I can see the comments now, oh, bro, what do you, L-take? Because people don't know how Trae Young plays, but it's play style, right? These are two players who dominate on the ball, not off the ball, very much on the ball, and make a ton of plays with not only their shooting range, but their passing skills, right? Like Trae Young can shoot from the logo and score the basketball, just like Caitlin, but he also has an assist title, like Caitlin. But the issue with their games is that it leaves them liable for a game or a stretch where they can just not hit a jump shot.
That girl is Caitlin Clark. That girl has always been her. She will always be that girl. She also demonstrated to everyone on Friday night why the Indiana Fever is a totally different squad when she is playing. While the rest of us enjoy witnessing the most dynamic athlete in basketball continue to redefine what is possible, the skeptics can continue to be angry. The naysayers had best get used to being uncomfortable because this is just the beginning of Caitlin Clark's retribution tour. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more WNBA videos.